Welcome to the perfect podcast show on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. I'm the host of the show, Keith. And this, the perfect podcast show, is the show where I try to make the perfect show, which is why the name of the show that I'm hosting now is the perfect podcast show. It is a podcast that is visual. It's a visual podcast. And it's a show. It's a podcast show, visual podcast show, and my goal is to make it perfect. We try every time. And by we, I mean I, because I'm the host. You can call into the show and leave a message if you want. Call and leave a message. We'll play it on the air. We've been having some great calls already. 818-392-4623. 818-392-4623. You can call in, leave a message. We'll play it on the air. Give us advice. Tell us what you think of the show. Hopefully it's good. Maybe if you think the show's perfect, then I can stop, because all I'm trying to do is make the perfect show. Once I have the perfect show, then I can finally stop this. My goal is just to have a perfect show. Once I reach the goal, we're done. So I'm just trying to make the perfect show, which is the perfect podcast show that I'm trying to make. Great. Well, thanks for tuning in. Why don't we listen to one of those calls now? Hi there. Thanks for calling the perfect podcast show. Leave your message and we'll play it on the air. How was that? Does that work?
It's the universe calling. I'm joking, it's really Neil deGrasse Tyson calling from the great beyond, talking again, actually calling from my work desk. Work is so boring, you know what I mean, but you know what isn't? The cosmos joking yet again. A meteor show, the perfect podcast show that's not boring either. I have to take a massive dump.
I wish, if you call in, hopefully you say a compliment if you can, because once I reach a perfect show, then I can be done, released from my torture here, my purgatory of podcast purgatory. Maybe that's the new name of the show. Podcast purgatory, or purgatory podcast, because I'm just trying to do the perfect show, and then I can stop. But until then, we're going to keep trying. So thanks for the call, I guess. I have a good feeling about this show. I got a good feeling about it. I think we got some good stuff coming up. This will be a good one. We have a very, very funny guest. But before we get to the guest, we got to pay the bills, as they say, because podcasts aren't free. This studio, these signs, each of these signs were $20,000. I've been told that I was ripped off because they shouldn't be that much, but too late, already paid, couldn't cancel the order. So, we got to pay them off, and to do that, we have advertisements. So let's put on one of those ads now. Yeah, great. So let's put on one of those ads and help pay for these signs. This episode of The Perfect Podcast Show is brought to you by... Yo, this is Snoop Dogg. That's right, it's really me, Snoop D-O-double-G, to tell you about readingmadeeasy.com. Helping your kids learn to read is the B-E-S-T thing you can do for them as a parent. P-A-R-E-N-T, which is why right now readingmadeeasy.com is offering 20% off OFF of all their courses online. O-N-L-I-N-E. So don't waste no more time. Just visit readingmadeeasy.com today. That's readingmadeeasy.com and start learning to read. R-double-E-E-D. Okay, so now we have a very special guest returning to the show again. He was here a little bit ago, sort of here, but not really. But okay, I think we figured it all out. And he's now officially going to join. I'm so excited about this. The Perfect Podcast Show. Please welcome Mr. Bob Iger. Oh boy. Hello? Bob, this, okay, it's happening again. We can't see you, and we can't hear you. Hello? Bob, this is the time we talked about. If you're there, are you there, Bob? Hello? Bob? Bob Iger. Disney's Bob Iger, are you there? Hello. All right, well, I guess come on later if you're here, or just send me a note or something. All right, well, we tried for Bob Iger again, no luck there. Okay, but my guest today, returning, a guest of the show, returning for the second time. It's the sequel, if you will, the sequel of this guest. Please welcome my guest, very funny comedian. Excited for this conversation. Please welcome back to the perfect podcast show. Please welcome Kym Kral. Hey, you're here.
I'm here. Hi.
I'm so happy to have you on the show.
I know.
Wait, tell me about your podcast.
It's called Crawl Space because my last name is Kral.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I didn't come up with it, but it is really good. So when the lockdowns happened, everything shut down, and I had a live radio show at the time at Dash Radio.
Cool.
And my hair keeps hitting that. And that shut down, right? And so I started watching The Walking Dead. I'd never seen The Walking Dead. And I started doing these little videos on Instagram where I was just reacting to something that you all saw 10 years ago. And I text my buddy, my old radio show co-host, and I was like, oh my God, the governor. And he goes, I'm not doing this with you. We all did this 10 years ago. Yeah. I'm not jumping on board. Don't text me about this again. And I was like, fair. And so they started getting this weird traction. So people were like, somebody messaged me, was like, you should do a podcast. And so I was like, hey, internet, would you listen? And the internet was like, yeah, probably. And then I was like, what should I name it? And then my friend Dave Neal, who's really funny and has his own podcasts, but now he's blown up. It's about the Bachelor Nation. And he's like, it's blown up so much that him and his wife moved to Nashville, bought a huge house. And now he bought a Tesla. Like the whole thing just blew up, he's such a good guy. But that's a plug for Dave Neal. He came up with Crawl Space. And so at first it was just me in my dark closet with my old crappy microphone, just sort of telling stories about the weird crap I was doing by myself in my apartment. Like once the first episode, I ate a piece of cake on the toilet. Not like, I wonder what would happen if I ate cake on the toilet. It was like I blacked out and woke up on the toilet eating the cake and not drinking. I didn't drink most of the lockdowns because, well, I saw, I wanted to be happy, like I wanted to just get rid of anything that could probably depress me. But like I made this big cake and I actually accidentally eat on the toilet all the time. I don't know if that's too much info, but like I'll start to eat something. I have ADHD. So I'll start to eat something and then I'm like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, and I'll keep eating. And then I'll go to the bathroom. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I have to wipe. And I'm like, oh my God, you're eating. Oh, I guess I'll finish the piece of cake.
I mean, look, it sounds crazy, but I think this is one of those things that most people say, I do that too. I can't because I'm standing, but like, if I'm going to take a poop, I'm like, oh, I could take this with me and continue what I'm doing. So it makes sense if you're sitting, you're like, why put it down?
Yeah, and you're not even thinking because like peeing is like, and pooping is autopilot, right? Yeah. Like it's not something like you're just, so the first episode's called Eating Cake on the Toilet. So the first couple of episodes are just me talking about weird crap in my apartment and things that I was doing by myself. And then I started working on myself. I'm in a 12-step program. I'm not sober. I'm in a 12-step program for kids who grew up in alcoholism and addiction. And nice. So I started, and I sound smiley about it, but it changed my life and I love it, right? And so I started working on, and thank God I started doing that in the lockdowns, because when you dismantle yourself, you do a lot of crying. And I'm really grateful I got to do all of that crying in the privacy of my own home as opposed to out in the world. And
yeah, what a great, I mean, it was a great time to do self-work, because like you literally can't go anywhere. You can like distract yourself as much as possible, but that's going to become boring. So it's like, what can you do that like to better yourself a little bit? It's hard to do. It was definitely hard to do, but that's great. That happened.
And so it like morphed from like, and it's still funny. Like I'm funny, so I can talk about scary stuff and still be funny. And it morphed into this like talking about the stuff I'd been through in my life and like how I worked through it. And so I call it like a traumedy, where I talk about trauma. And then I also have a segment where it's called the Poop Scoop, and I talk about adults pooping their pants or coming close to, or embarrassing poop stories.
Whoa.
And I got to episode 50 where I ran out of my own episode or my own stories, which I'm not proud of that. Like, I'm not like,
that's a good amount for yourself. That's a good amount.
I didn't poop my pants 50 times in my life, but like, you know, I've had embarrassing, and now strangers from all over send me their own stories, and I feel like my dreams have come true.
Wow, you're known as like, I can share. what would it be called? The poop girl? Like,
my buddy's Jamaican dad calls me, and I can't do the Jamaican accent. I tried to at a show the other night, and it was like, what are you trying to do, white girl? He calls me the poo comedian.
Yeah,
which I love.
Stories of pooping yourself. I mean, how do we not do it all the time? It's insane that we like have it always like ready to go. We got to do it at least once a day. We're drinking coffee and stuff all the time. Like, it's insane that doesn't happen. Yeah. How does that not happen at all times?
I think we should have, this is what I think we need to have in the world. And I don't know how it would be implemented, but I've talked about this more. I will scream this at everybody who will listen. I think we have something that we should have something called the poop law. Like, we've all had to like camp out on the toilet and we're like, fuck, I'm going to miss this thing or I'm running late. So years ago I was driving to work. I worked at a nightclub. I was driving to work. I would work and I was on my way there. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I have to go home. I'm going to shit my pants. So I turned around and I came back and it was like a disaster. So I didn't poop my pants, but I made it. But it was just like, I'm going to be here a while. I don't know what I ate. So I text my manager, who is lovely, but she's kind of a stuck up. She's not stuck up's the wrong word. She doesn't like poop and she doesn't, but she's even meaner if you're late. So I text her and I was like, hey girl, this is probably too much information, but I'm gonna shit my pants and I don't know how long I'm gonna be on the toilet for, but I will get there as soon as I can. And she goes, oh my God, why would you tell me that? I'm like, because if I didn't tell you that, you would have been passive aggressively mean to me all night because I was 7 minutes late. So I'd rather you just be grossed out by me. But I think we should have poop law to where when you're late somewhere, you just go poop law. And I don't know how we'd enforce this. You can't lie about it. Like the way people like, and if you do lie about it, you're going to poop your pants somewhere scary, like a bank.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a scary place because they're like,
that's the scariest place.
But I feels like poop law should be like, people would use it and lie all the time. But so I feel like poop law, you can use it, but it has to come with a photo of you with poop in the photo. Like, it's you on the toilet showing poop in there. It has to be super embarrassing if you're going to use that as an excuse. Like, you got to prove it. You got to prove or like show you with your pants covered in shit. Like, it has to be like, here's proof. If I'm going to call poop law, here it is. And then it won't be that weird because like, okay, well, we literally every day do that same thing. So like, all right, thanks for sharing that. Don't worry about it. See you in 20 minutes.
That's the solution. This whole time I was like, I don't know how we'd enforce that. I mean, I guess we can't make someone poop their pants in a bank, but we can enforce.
Yeah, you have to prove it. You have to prove it. And like it'd be a hard picture to fake too. So like it'd be obvious if it was a real photo or not.
Yeah. And you'd have to screenshot it so it had time and date on your phone. Yeah. So you can't reuse.
That's a good part of this. Yeah, because you're like, oh, just keep a couple of them. Or probably my workaround that I'm thinking right now, Photoshop would be difficult, but next time I went to the bathroom, I would just bring up a couple shirts and take a photo shoot and like, all right, let me get 15 like different day shoots of the poop law that I could use at any time. But you're right, if you screenshot it, then you can't make it up.
And if you're gonna Photoshop it to make it up, first of all, then you're just like, well, you might as well just be 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late.
Yeah, because it would be so much work. But now I'm thinking is like, can you do AI generated like me pooping my pants and how real? Then that's the next thing. AI was like, okay, we have to learn how to make realistic photos of people pooping their pants for poop.
Can you ask ChatGPT to do that for you?
There's definitely some apps and stuff where you can say like, oh, picture of me riding a dolphin. So I'm sure there's like picture of me, I just shit my pants and I'm really embarrassed. It's probably. But then that's new. It's like when like they were trying to do hands and the hands looked weird and they got better at doing hands. So they'd have to like get better at this to the point where like, well, what did you eat that you were so late? And you'd have to incorporate that in your input of like, oh, I had a burrito last night and leftover pizza this morning. Incorporate that in my poop picture.
So then you'd have to have both. Yeah, no one has ever gotten on board with this with me. Thank you. I mean, you got on board. Like, I agree, but no one's ever been like, we should hammer this out.
Because the other thing is, okay, I can do a quick poop. Got it. And then you start wiping. You're like, what is going on? I need to leave. Why am I still doing this? Like, it's time to go.
Why is this?
Like, do I need to continue to go? No, I don't. But like, why is it such a mess right now? I gotta leave. I had enough time for poop, but now it's like multiple. I'm on level 5 of wiping. Like, what's going on here?
And why are some poops like that? Why are some
Why are they?
I don't know. I've asked. So I had a buddy. We were on our live radio show. It was live, and we were talking, and he was like, "Well, yeah, you know how you just have like skid marks." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, you know, sometimes you just don't get it all, so you just have skid marks when you get home." And I was like, "No, I don't." And he goes, that has never happened to you? And I'm like, no, you wipe until it's gone. You wipe until it's gone. And then he goes, you can't tell anybody about this. And I was like, we're on live radio, dude. And also, I'm telling everybody about this.
And we just heard it again. But that's the thing. If there's poop, like he was probably like, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to have to deal with skid marks. But if there's poop law, that would never happen again. I mean, we'd put bleach out of business because they would like, I need to buy bleach. But like,
there's other reasons for bleach.
That's true. That's true.
Cleaning up blood after you kill someone. I feel like that's a big market. Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, like all the, is there a big industry in like how to cover up skid marks? We put them out of business.
Yeah. There was a guy that I went to college with who was really, really hot. We all had a really big crush on him. And we had a party and he used the girls' bathroom. There was 2 girls and 2 guys and we had 2 bathrooms and the hot guy used our bathroom. And I went in after him and the entire toilet bowl was just covered. Like he had flushed, but it all didn't go down. And we called him Skid Mark for the rest of the year. And I talked about that on Crawl Space and he listens and he messaged me and was like, that's hilarious. Thank you for the shout out.
That is my name. I legally changed it.
Yeah. Thanks for calling me hot too. And I'm like, well, I also said you were not hot anymore after that. After that, we were like, oh. He doesn't care about other people like that. To me, like it's human. We've all flushed and like it's not all gone. I could talk about poop with you for 3 hours.
That's the scary thing is you flush and like it's just so weird. Like dogs will go wherever and we're like, oh, it's so weird, it's so disgusting. But we go in the same bowl as other people, and like all there was before was a little flush. And now you're sitting in the exact same spot where someone else just laid a big poop, and now you're sitting there and like, okay, it flushed. It's right past that drain. It's just a little bit farther down there. But to us, it's like, oh, this is sanitary. That's way worse. A dog is much better. They're not pooping on another poop. They eat the poop and then they poop where there's no more poop.
Oh my God, the eating the poop freaks me out.
That's too much.
Eating the throw up, I kind of understand a little bit, but eating the poop, I'm like, it's processed, already gone through the system. It doesn't even smell like the food anymore.
But there might be little bits of it in there still. Stuff that didn't get processed, like corn or something. Yeah, that's too much.
Did you see 2 Girls, 1 Cup?
I would not.
I watched maybe 30 seconds of it. It was just because it was calling to me.
Yeah.
And
one of the first viral videos, I think, right? It was like definitely up there.
Oh man, it was. I still think about that like 30 seconds.
Where are they now? Where are those people now is what I want to know. You know, where we could find this out. I'm going to put this on my to-do list. Research where those people are so I don't actually do it.
That's what I was going to just say. I was like, put it on your list. And one day when you're going through the list because you have a little bit of time, then you'll be like, oh yeah, where are the 2 Girls, 1 Cup? But if you don't look it up now, your brain's like, just look it up. Just look it up.
Yeah, I'll just do it. I got to add that to the list. And I go, cool, done. That's a great tip. Yeah, thanks for being on the show. Oh. Thanks. It was so great to have you again.
Good to be back. Good to be back. I'm not a good yes-ander.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, it was happening the whole time.
Oh, yay. I'm a good yes-ander if it's like a good, but I'm not like in improv. I'm not a good person that's like, I will roll with this. I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I have a
okay.
podcast with this guy and he gets so mad. He's like, I'm like, we're having a conversation. We're not doing an improv show. So I'm allowed to say I don't agree with you. And he's like, you just always don't agree with me. And I'm like, well,
I felt the opposite. I was like, you're yes anding everything.
well, yeah, because you were making sense on everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agreed with everything you said.
Thank you, Kym, for being the guest on this episode of the Perfect Podcast Show. We tried again. It was okay. It was a good conversation. Nothing you did wrong, but again, not a perfect one. I don't know what happened there. But thanks for being on the show, and thank you for tuning into the show, for watching the show, for watching the replay or watching live. Thank you for being here right now on the Perfect Podcast Show as I attempt to make a perfect show. And once I do, I can be released from my prison, my literal prison, because the doors are locked and I can't leave until I make the perfect show. We'll try again another time. We're live every Tuesday, noon Pacific time on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. I'm Keith. Thanks for watching, and we'll leave you with this nice music song of music, this tune. Enjoy. See you next time.
He's the host, he's got a mic. Try so hard to get it right. Every show it goes awry. Oh, Keith, he wonders why. Guess they bumble, knock things down. Keith just ends with a big frown. Fans, they laugh, they love the mess. Why is this show always less? The Perfect Podcast Show. It's so bad you'll love to know. Keith makes mistakes all the time. That's the reason it's so prime. Funny noises, static crack. Keith's dog barking in the back. Every episode's a riot. Kids tune in, they can't deny it. Tech goes haywire, Mike is dead. Keith just scratches his forehead. Nothing's perfect, but it's fun. Come on, kids, let's watch and run. The Perfect Podcast Show. It's so bad you'll love to know. Keith makes mistakes all the time. That's the reason it's so prime. Tech goes haywire, Mike is dead. Keith just scratches his poor head. Nothing's perfect, but it's fun. Come on, kids, let's watch and run. The Perfect Podcast Show. It's so bad you'll love to know. Keith makes mistakes all the time. That's the reason it's so prime. The Perfect Podcast Show. It's so bad you'll love to know. Keith makes mistakes all the time. That's the reason it's so prime.